Barbara.
Hi,
This is my story. Okay. When I show up at the Franklin Intake Center for Women's Homeless Shelter in April 2014, a counselor there offers me an alternative, a paid one-way ticket to Los Angeles so I can resume living with my mother. She's shocked when I say no thank you and choose the homeless shelter instead. But you're too educated, you're too quiet, and you're too timid, and too weak to survive in the shelter, says she. She doesn't know that for me, the homeless shelter is actually the brave choice. She doesn't know that this is the beginning of me finally not being timid. For the past 2 years, no one in my family has known my address. No one knows where I'm employed. Neither do they know about Bottomless Closet, the organization that has blessed me with clothes and workshops like this one and made me recipient of their Moving Up Award in 2015. It's a decision I make in my early 50s after living with my mother in Los Angeles from 2009 until 2014 and taking care of her and my dad and my family, shuttling them to and from doctors, life appointments, while being completely shut down and not working. My mom doesn't like my new rule. If only she'd tell me where she is, what she's doing, and with whom, she cries to my dad and others in my family. But she in particular can no longer be privy to my movements and my actions. She has a bad habit of using that kind of information to wound me. She makes phone calls. In my late 20s, I'm working at FedEx as an administrative assistant, when another assistant, slightly higher up the chain of command, takes me aside. You know, your mother calls me daily, says she. She asks me whether you've arrived at work on time and whether you're a good worker, and swears me to secrecy. Chris, my boyfriend at the time, says the same thing. Your mom reaches out to me constantly. She's told him that since I waited until I was 26 to lose my virginity, that's the truth, I'm not lying. It was January 1st, 1989. I brought the new year in with a bang. Anyway, she said I'm too immature to have a boyfriend. I discover then, for years my mother has regularly made phone calls to boyfriends, rectors, and pastors of churches, friends, employers, gyms, family members, anyone who has sought my friendship or was an aid to my welfare. She makes this or that pejorative comment about me, recites a litany of each and every sin, real or imagined, I have ever committed throughout my entire life, and discourages them from dating, promoting, or befriending me. That's when I realized that even my virtue is a cudgel in my mother's hand. She is determined to undermine my success in all quarters of life. This should be the final straw for me. I should speak up, but instead I act timidly and for the next 20 years continue to apprise my mom of my every activity. In the fall of 1983, when I'm 21, I get into the Ailey American Dance Theater School, located in this building, so I've come full circle. I've been dancing since 1979, and this was a big accomplishment for me. I'm proud. I want my parents to be proud. New York City is going to chew you up and spit you out, my dad tells me, because I haven't been to war. You're going to become a whore on the streets and an alcoholic. Never mind at that point I'm 21, still a virgin, and a teetotaler. I haven't even developed my NyQuil habit, which I got later on, to deal with stress. NyQuil in one hand, Pepsi in the other. The good girl's version of drug addiction. Okay. Now, unfortunately, I don't need my parents to sabotage me any longer. For much of my life, I've had a tri-level sabotage team in place. Me, myself, and I. The sabotage team comes in handy when I start my 2 years of training at the Ailey School. I attend rehearsals for the Tap Dance Kid, choreographed by my tap teacher, Danny Daniels. He wants to give me a shot at being cast. Well, I fixed Danny for giving me this chance. Not being fully present, smiling politely as I mess up steps. That'll show him. Yeah, it showed me too. I didn't get the job. Years later, in 2004, when a good paralegal temp job in New York comes to an end, I find I can't get a job. I shut down for 2 years. I'm in Los Angeles to take care of parents and family, but don't take care of myself. Every now and then, I would allow myself to wonder, what happened? Don't I have a BA from UCLA? Didn't I used to temp as a paralegal at Sullivan and Cromwell's law firm in the financial district? Didn't I have a car, home, a nice limo, a meal allowance, living in Manhattan? In 2014, something shifts. I can no longer sit still. I feel the need to purge some demons, including my trusty sabotage team. I decided to take a 500-mile spiritual pilgrimage on foot across Spain, the Camino de Santiago, it's about 1,000 years old, to the shrine of St. James the Greater. It's an amazing experience, and I'm asked to write about it, and was surprised to learn that what I'd written has been published in a book. Now, when it's time to come home from Spain, I figure I'll go to New York where I can be independent instead of Los Angeles. How does one go from a spiritually enlightening pilgrimage across Spain to homelessness? In the past, when I moved from Los Angeles to New York City, within a week or two I'd have a job and residence with some financial backup. But not this time. I'd forgotten I didn't work for 10 years. So I head to the Franklin Women's Intake Center and then transferred to BRC Women's Shelter. Initially, my supposedly timid, weak self is placed with the old ladies and cripples. One of these old women has a fight with another. Granny number 1 thinks Granny number 2 has stolen from me. And next thing, wham, a right hook to the kisser of Granny number 1. Watching two 70-somethings duke it out, under 100 pounds and less than 2 feet tall. It's hilarious. You can see the punches coming in real-time slow-mo. I moved into quiet room with other 50-somethings. 6 months later, I'm shown an apartment in Brooklyn. I say yes. I'm supposed to move in the next month, December 20th, 2014. But then just as Link rental assistance checks are made available, the housing specialist says the landlord has pulled out. Sign for the checks, she says, and you'll be in an apartment with the same realtor ASAP. So I do. But cancel Christmas for me that year, no visit to family, otherwise I'll lose my bed. 6 months elapse. In May 2014, the housing specialist comments, God works in mysterious ways. Just when you thought you would have that apartment, fell through. Yeah, God works in mysterious ways, his wonders to behold. A few short weeks after she makes that comment, God shows me what she's been up to. At a recertification appointment, worker says, oh, you're in the LINK program. I say, no, the apartment fell through. She says, no, look right here. Your check for May has been issued and cashed.
Oh my gosh.
What? That's what I said. Oh my gosh. I did the collective sigh too. She researches the activity for the past 6 months. Link has been sending checks since December, and someone has been cashing them. Someone enjoyed an excellent Christmas on my back. Someone was extending my shelter stay while they went shopping for what? New rims on their car? Human Indian hair for their weave? A few years ago, I would have rolled over. Not this time, not today. Timid, no, no, no. My roommate, the other scammed woman, and I team up and fight back. We aren't just concerned about us. What about the other women who've been scammed? What about the woman in the shelter called Country, who's a bit over 60 with bad diabetes, and the best job she ever had was at a laundress at a laundromat? What about the 70-year-old woman bent over her walker with the raspy voice and sick? We suspect these ladies, amongst others, have been victimized as well. We go to the Human Rights Commission, the Brooklyn DA, and the Coalition for the Homeless. Tony Taylor, the supervisor at Coalition, thanks us and says we are fighting for 20,000 homeless. The housing specialist who allegedly stole our money from December 2014 through August 2015 loses her job. Finally, on February 2nd, 2016, I move into an apartment. I won't tell my mother the address, neither my family. My secrecy is an act of self-preservation. It allows me to forge ahead. And so does Bottomless Closet. Workshops, free clothes, not to mention handbag central. I have 4 Kate Spade handbags. Pinky is my favorite. I take her with me often. She's my entree to upscale boutiques where I am told, come again. I even received my pickup job via Bottomless Closet. Now I work at JCPenney as an overnight replenishment specialist. There's a voice in my head that says this is the best I deserve. But then I realize that's not my voice, Dad's, Mom's, my former self-sabotage team. So I'll keep pushing upwards. But more than handbags, more than clothes and workshops, Bottomless Closet is a safe place, a safe bridge to cross from yesteryear's failures to tomorrow's successes.